Hello, everyone. I'm super happy to be here with you and with you, Juan, today. We have a very interesting topic to talk about. I think there are a lot of questions regarding this topic, the risk of buying a house without a realtor.
What do you think, Fer? Good afternoon, guys. This is Juan Grimaldo with the Grimaldo Group. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I think this is a very good question. There's a lot of people that say, you know what, I can buy a house without a realtor, and that's totally true, 100% correct. The only problem is just like going to court without an attorney, right? When you can get one for free. So basically, the one suing you is paying you for your attorney. So I don't see a reason why you wouldn't. First of all, I'm not going to say there is no cost because somebody pays for it, right? So the at this moment in time, the listing agent gets paid, and then the listing agent splits the commission with us, and that's how we get paid. So it doesn't cost you anything to work with us. So I think that's the first main reason, because most people are worried about the cost. Now, a lot of people say, well, what about the new builds, Juan? Why should I take a realtor with me? Well, just a little nutshell. In a little nutshell, we just saved the client about $30,000, another one about $50,000. So you don't have to pay us, and then on top of that, we save you money. And not only that, we can negotiate other terms, within the deal. So if they're going through selling their home, or any other situations where it might be a little tricky, we come in and we can help. So I think that's one of the main two reasons, but especially when the first thing we encounter is the cost, right? Well, who's going to pay for it? Why should we hire you? And to have legal representation, I mean, it's pretty good to be free, no? Or not legal, real estate representation. Yeah.
So let me see if I'm understanding right. Are you saying that the buyers are not paying anything for representation?
No, and again, I got to be careful when I say that, because somebody's paying for it, right? So some people may say, well, the seller sold the house. I mean, if you really get technical, right? In reality, the seller's paying for it, but then they ask who's buying the house, the buyer. So the buyer's in essence paying for the commission together. But well, I guess it depends how you see it, but it's not going to come out of the buyer's pocket. Let's say you're buying the home for a specific price. Either you buy it from the seller directly, or you buy it with an agent. The price is the same, right? So at the end of the day, I feel like there's no cost to the buyer, because it doesn't come out of their pocket. Again, it depends on how you see it, but they don't have to pay for our services. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. But tell me more about the advantages of buying a house with a realtor.
Well, there's several, right? First of all, making sure that they pay the right price for the house. So when we look for a property, we typically do a market update, a market analysis, in which we see what the properties are going for in the neighborhood. We see what has closed. We see what's active, especially now the market is changing. And by the way, I've been doing this for since 2007. If I do the math, about 15 years, 16 years. So
Yeah,
it's
around.
so it our market in Phoenix has always been crazy. It's never been flat. It just goes up, down, all over the place. You need to know that you're paying fair market value, and for that reason, you need someone that knows what they're doing in both regards, right? So if it's going down, I need to make sure I get a good deal. If it's going up, I need to make sure that I win, right? So you want to make sure that you have someone on your side that knows what they're doing, so that they can get you the first, I say the first hurdle, which is making sure you don't overpay for your home. Then there's also a lot of disclosure issues. So when you're buying a property, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. First of all, you have to do an inspection. Then we guide you through the process of making sure that you do your due diligence, not only making sure the house is sound, but also that the neighborhood is what you want, that you know about anything that is important to you, sex offenders, crime, all these things that some people may not think about. We give you some tips as to what to do, where to go. So I think that's another thing. When you buy in a house, you need to make sure that you do the right inspection. You have a certain time to do an inspection, and I think that's huge, right? Because it can cost you thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, if you don't do the right inspections to make sure the house is in good condition.
100%. I totally agree. But tell me, Juan, you already told me why is it good to buy a house with a realtor, but tell me, why would anybody hire you?
Well, they don't get just me, and that's good, because I can only do so much. So we have a group of people, we have a team, and when it comes to the team, we have everybody's going to be available at certain times. So if let's say I go out of town, they need my services to show a property or to list a home, there's always going to be somebody here. We also have our transaction coordinators who are behind the scenes doing paperwork, making sure that everything moves along. They coordinate inspections, and so just think about it this way, Fed. If you go to the dentist, and then the dentist is going to make the phone call, say, hey, Fed, do you need dental work? And then they're going to bring you into the office, and they're going to be the receptionist that takes the order. And then they're going to sit you down, and then they're going to be ones turning on the TV and making sure that you're comfy, and then bringing you coffee. And then they bring you into the chair, right, to do the work. And he does everything. It's impossible for him to do a great job because he's doing everything. So for that reason, we created a team in which you don't only get me, but you get our transaction coordinators, our sales associates, in which if somebody has to go show a home, I'm not there. Somebody else will assist and help out with that. And we all wear different hats for a reason, and we focus on we call it our 20%. We want to make sure that that portion of our job is 100%, so that every step of the way you have a good experience, and it's not just me doing everything and kind of giving you half of what you deserve, you know?
What do you mean with good experience?
When we sell a home, it's not just selling a property, it's an experience throughout the whole process. First of all, we need to find out what your reasons are. Why are you buying a home, right? We're not here to just transact. What is your goal? How can we help you achieve that goal? Maybe you bought a house, you're thinking about investing and maybe renting the property you have. We're not going to just force you to sell your home and go and buy another house if that's not what you intend. Our goal is to make sure that when we do something, it benefits the buyer, and we work for you guys when it comes to purchasing and not for us. What do I mean by that? One of my things that I'm proud of, and what I tell my team members is, let's not worry about the commission. That's not our goal. Our goal is to make sure that we deliver that experience where the client gets to see the houses that they're looking for, makes a good deal, gets everything squared away when it comes to buying the property in the process, gets their keys, and they're happy, and there's no hassles. Everything moves smoothly. Real estate is not perfect, so for that reason, there's things that go here and there that don't always work perfectly. However, that's when experience comes in, and sometimes the clients don't even know what we're going through behind the scenes. You know, we're fighting with the lender, with the inspector, with the appraisal, with the title company, with everybody, but we don't say anything, right? Why? Because that's part of our job. So our job is to make sure that transaction moves smoothly, gets to the closing table, and our client just has an experience. That's, to me, in essence, that's the experience. And one of the things that we tell our clients is that when the transaction closes, the relationship doesn't end. We now want to be your realtors for life. We want to make sure that we are here for you whenever you need anything. After all these years of doing this kind of business, we've met a lot of great people. Many of them do all kinds of different things and jobs. So for that reason, we have a lot of resources when it comes to referrals for plumbers, electricians, handyman, roofers, construction from the ground up, you name it. So it's helped us create a little community within our community to be able to provide services beyond that. And we don't charge anything. We just want to, again, contribute back to our clients. And if we do that, we get paid. So at the end of the day, the last thing we look at is our commission check, because we know that if we deliver on our promise, we're going to be able to get paid.
So it's a win-win situation, right?
100%. And that's our goal. We want to make sure that we deliver on what we say we're going to do.
Perfect. So I have another question that people are asking a lot. Is it good to buy for a sell by owner property?
It could be, right? If you like to go to Vegas and gamble, it could be. So it's best to always hire somebody that knows what they're doing to guide you through the whole process, have the opportunity to do your inspections, and knows how to handle the negotiation. A lot of times people think I'm going to get a better deal because they're not going to pay you. The thing is that who is the seller working for, right? Let's say the seller is also an agent, or the agent is selling the property to both ends. Who is he representing? Is he representing the buyer or the seller? Who's going to do a better job for? That's why, like, for example, the new builds, if you go to a new build, I mean, you're basically going straight to the seller and saying, hey, I want to work with you. And they're like, of course, come on over. Don't bring your realtor. Why? Because, we're able to keep that in our side, and they represent the seller at the end of the day. So it's always good to find an agent that, has a little bit of experience to make sure that you go and get the best deal possible.
What does it mean to be represented by an agent? To have an agent for backup?
Well, I go back to the dentist. I mean, would you like to do your own dental work?
No.
Right? And that's the reason. You might have sold a home. You might have sold a property. You might have purchased a property before on your own. Does that make you an expert?
No.
Can you run to get your mail to the post office, right? Can you? Can you run a marathon?
Yes.
Can you? You've done it?
No.
See, so that's what I'm saying. Like we can do a lot of these things, but that doesn't mean we're that, right? Like I'm not a marathonist. I barely run 2-3 miles and that's it. But it's like, can we run 1 mile? Can we run two? Yeah. But can we do it as a professional? And that's where I was going. So if I put you on the spot. But it's like, do we really want to do the things that I'm not good at? Like, for example, I don't mow my lawn. First of all, I don't know how to. I know how to mow the lawn, but I'm terrible at it. So it's not my expertise. And then I don't wash my own car. I take it to the car wash. Why? Because I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. So I leave it to the professionals. Looks a lot prettier. And then me, maybe I scratch it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I do? Right. So it's always best to leave the things that you, first of all, you're not a professional at, to have somebody else do it. Why? Because they're going to do a good job. And this is the most expensive or the biggest ticket item you'll ever purchase in your life. And do you really want to do it by yourself without any guidance? Is it really worth the risk, right?
100%. I totally agree. And talking about risks, what are the risks of buying a house without a realtor?
Well, you can buy a house that has liens. Maybe you buy it straight from the owner. You guys just swap titles and you're good. Or you can buy a property that maybe has a lot of defects, right? When you do an inspection, when you're buying a property with an agent, we guide you in the right direction to make sure that an inspector goes inspects the property. We do an appraisal. So all these things are protections for you, right? You're investing in your peace of mind, which I think is worth it. And basically, by having an agent, you're investing in your peace of mind down the road, making sure that everything was, all the T's were crossed and the I's were dotted. So I think that's the main thing, having peace of mind.
Perfect one. I love it. And what advice could you give to anyone that is thinking about buying but it's not sure yet?
And we just talked about it earlier, right? I mean, what 100%, like people are concerned about their interest rates, and this has been a concern forever. We just happen to be in a very beautiful time in which the rates have been low for so long that we got so used to the 2-3% that now that are at 6%, people are freaking out, right? Well, the rates in reality, the average is about 7.8%. And if you think about it, 100% of the rent that you're paying, it's basically going to the garbage. So you're paying 100% interest rate there. How does that feel, right? So I think that it's important to those people that are overthinking about buying to just say, you know what? Do I really want to pay somebody else's mortgage, or should I start paying my own mortgage and start building wealth for my family? We talked about it earlier too, about people in the retirement years, they can't retire because they didn't purchase a home. They've been renting their whole lives, and now that they want to retire, whatever they get from the government or their pensions is not enough to pay the rent. So here's a beautiful thing that I think happens when you buy a house. When you purchase a home, you get a 30-year mortgage, right? That 30-year mortgage means that your payment is going to be fixed for 30 years. What happens to your income every single year, Fer? Does it go up?
Yeah.
So your payment stays flat and your income goes higher. So at some point, you're going to look back and say, oh my gosh, look at my beautiful payment. That's when a lot of people say, oh my gosh, my uncle pays $500 a month for their mortgage. My cousin pays $700 a month for a mortgage. Yeah, they planted that tree like we spoke before, right? I ask this question all the time. When is the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago, right? And the next best time is now, because if you look back, you could have, yeah, you should have, but what are you doing now? If you keep waiting, you're going to run into that position or that situation where you're going to be, that tree that somebody else planted is already grown and bearing fruit. And you're like, oh my gosh, look at my little tree. But you know what? Every single day you water it, you feed it, you pay that mortgage. And before you know it, you have a lot of equity. You owe very little. And then in your latter years, you're able to say, you know what? With the money that I get from the government, maybe my pension, who knows, maybe you asked us about how to invest in real estate. We helped you out. And you're living large and you're scratching your belly in Cancun, watching those beautiful waves and enjoying the sun. Or you can be working at a Walmart, waving at people because you never took care of business. And now you have to go through that. And Fernanda understands that, and I knows that I'm passionate about this for that reason. It breaks my heart. I mentioned this story before, but when I was at Chase, I was working at a bank. I was a banker, and my job was to open accounts, sell loans, sell lines of credits, and mortgages. So this couple shows up with a $650 check, and they say, Juan, we want to open an account. And I said, do you have any retirement accounts? I sold investments as well, so I wanted to see if I could have a little extra commission from these people. They say, no. Do you own a home? No. And they said, you know what, Juan? The reason we're here is we just want to have direct deposit from the government check into our account. And I said, do you guys rent then? She's like, yeah. How much you guys pay for rent? $600. Just think about it, guys. These guys were they were getting $650 from the government, and their rent was $650. This was back in 2005. That night, I was so scared, and I got home, and I told Luz, my wife, I said, you know what? I don't want to be there. I'm going to work my butt off, but I don't want to get to that point where I'm 60, 65 years old, and I have no home, I have no money, and I'm probably going to have to work the rest of my life to put food on the table. So at that point, it's a little story, we started selling tamales, we started selling hot dogs. I had a hot dog cart. I did events on the weekends. Like, I started working really, really hard because I did not want to experience that. And my father grew up very humble, and nobody taught him about money, but he was able to luckily build a home in Mexico, have some land. But if he would have stayed here, we wouldn't have had anything. And that moment right there, and going back to when I was 11 years old, when my dad retired in Mexico, just with the government check. Luckily, again, he lived in Mexico. Cost of living is less. He was able to live a good life. And that's why I believe in real estate, because my father, if he wouldn't have had that house, he wouldn't have made it, right? But now that I know this information, that's why I like to do these kinds of shows, to talk about it, because most people aren't talking about it. And it just breaks my heart to see all these people come to us trying to get a house because their rent is so much that making a mortgage payment it's more affordable. And again, because the mortgage payments, the cheapest right now, it's going to be about $2,000, and you get $1,800 from the government. These people are going to work their whole lives. And I would hate to see that. If you're watching this show, I don't want you to go through that. I don't want you to live that experience. It's my obligation to be here talking about that. Now it's up to you to take action. If you don't take action, you know what? We can't help. I'm sorry I went on a tangent, Fed, but I'm passionate about this, and I want to make sure that nobody is left behind when it comes to this game.
No, and I think this is very important, and most people don't talk about it. They just leave this as I don't know, it's not important because they don't see the future as it is. It's a real thing. It will happen someday, and you need to prevent that. So thank you so much for sharing your experience.
My pleasure. And one thing, now that you mentioned that, Fed, that people don't see that, I mention this quite often, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I'm very straightforward, and Fed knows this. I say things as I see them, and we're like zombies, right? We go to work, we enjoy the weekend. We go to work, we enjoy the weekend, and then, oh crap, I'm old now. What do? I never saved any money. And I don't like saving. I don't like that word. I like investing, right? Because, and I'm going to give you guys another example on what I mean by investing. My father was a farmer, right? He had corn fields all the time, and we used to desgranábamos. We used to remove the corn from the cob, and we would actually sell it. But my point with that is, if my father would have put all that corn away, it would have gone bad, right? But if he planted, what he did is he saved a few seeds, and then he'll plant them the next year. So, excuse me. That being said, your money is like corn or any other seed that you may think about. And what you want to do with that corn is plant it. That's your money. And that's what I do with real estate. We put them in, and we put our money into real estate because those plants or those seeds are going to bear fruit eventually. And it's not a get rich quick scheme, but you buy a house, you're putting your mortgage payment every single month, you're feeding that plant, right? Eventually that's going to be done, and you're going to enjoy the fruit of not making that mortgage payment. Or maybe you bought 2 or 3, and by the time you retire, you're not only getting money from the government, from your pension, but also from your rentals. How would that look like? What would that look like? Would that be awesome? I mean, if you're getting $2,000 from the government, maybe $1,000 from your pension, and $4,000 from your rental properties, that would be so awesome, right?
Living your best life.
And it's simple. Like, it's, again, once you learn about this stuff and how to do it, and again, we can show you, we can teach you how to do this for free. We don't charge you anything. We're going to get to the point where we want to do seminars because we want to make sure that people know about this stuff. And I know I went on a tangent again, but I think it's important to understand that you have to invest in your home, and it's important to buy a house because either way, you're paying a mortgage. Either you're paying your own mortgage or you're paying somebody else's mortgage. Wouldn't it be awesome to pay yours?
Absolutely.
Love it.
Perfect one. Well, thank you so much again for your time, for your expertise, for sharing all of your experiences with us. I think they are very useful. We appreciate it a lot. And well,
Thank
if
you.
you need anything, we're here for you. We're here to help.
Exactly, guys. Reach out. We're not unreachable. You can call me on my phone. If I don't answer you, it's because I'm with someone, with a client. Text me. You guys have my info. It's 480-365-8346. We'll share it here in the chat. Please reach out with any questions you may have. Like I said, if I don't answer, I typically transfer the calls to Ceci, which is our partner. She'll be answering the calls, but there's always someone here for you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Have a good day.